Did you know that a single bad refueling habit can destroy a $400 charcoal canister or strip the clear coat right off a $20,000 machine? Most riders treat refueling like a mindless chore. Just pump, pay, and go. But on modern Euro 5 bikes, and especially with the stricter compliance standards coming in 2026, the fuel system is no longer just a metal bucket. It is a precise, pressurized environment. We are breaking down the specific physics and mechanical failures caused by 7 common habits. These aren't just annoyances, they are distinct ways you are actively damaging your bike at the pump. If you want your engine to last, you need to stop doing these immediately. Let's start with the most expensive mistake people make trying to squeeze in extra range. Mistake 1. The top-off obsession. Killing your EVAP system. We need to talk about the top-off myth. This is the belief that after the pump clicks off, you should pull the nozzle back and squeeze the trigger a few more times to force fuel past the filler neck plate. Riders do this thinking that getting those extra 6 ounces of fuel into the tank will give them the necessary range to make it to the next stop. In reality, you are physically forcing liquid fuel into a system designed exclusively for vapor. Modern motorcycles are equipped with an evaporative emission control system, or EVAP. This system uses a charcoal canister to capture fuel vapors that expand in the tank when the bike is parked, preventing them from venting into the atmosphere. The system relies on a specific air gap at the top of the tank to function. When you overfill the tank past the bottom of the filler neck, you eliminate that air gap. Here is the mechanical failure chain. The excess liquid fuel has nowhere to go but down the overflow and vent lines. Instead of vapor, raw gasoline floods the charcoal canister. The charcoal inside is meant to absorb fumes, not soak up liquid. Once saturated, the canister turns into a heavy, wet brick of sludge. It can no longer breathe. This blockage creates a sealed vacuum inside your fuel tank as the fuel pump draws gas out. Best case scenario, you get vapor lock, where the fuel pump fights against the vacuum until the bike stalls or creates a massive hesitation on the highway. Worst case scenario, the vacuum becomes so strong it physically crushes the steel fuel tank inward, ruining the paint and the structure. With 2026 emission standards tightening, manufacturers are making these EVAP systems more sensitive and significantly more expensive to replace. If you ruin a canister by overfilling, dealers can tell immediately upon inspection, and it will void your warranty. The fix is simple discipline. Stop exactly when the nozzle clicks or when the fuel hits the bottom of the filler neck plate. That air gap isn't wasted space. It's a mandatory expansion zone preventing a $400 repair bill. Mistake 2. The premium fuel placebo effect. There is a pervasive myth in the motorcycle community that premium gas cleans my engine and gives me more power. You see riders with standard commuter bikes or adventure tours pumping 93 octane or 98 RON, convinced they are treating their engine to a spa day. The physics of combustion tells a different story. Octane is strictly a measurement of a fuel's resistance to detonation, also known as knock. It is not a measurement of potential energy, heat content, or cleaning power. High-octane fuel is chemically formulated to be harder to ignite. It resists burning under high pressure, so that high-performance engines with high compression ratios, usually above 11 to 1 or 12 to 1, don't detonate the fuel before the spark plug fires. If you put that high-resistance fuel into an engine designed for regular 87 octane, you are introducing a problem. Your low-compression engine does not generate enough cylinder pressure or heat to burn that heavy fuel efficiently. The flame front travels slower than the engine timing expects. The result is often incomplete combustion. You aren't getting more power. You might actually be losing a fraction of a horsepower. More importantly, that unburnt fuel has to go somewhere. Over time, using premium in an engine that doesn't need it can lead to increased carbon buildup on the piston heads and valves because the fuel isn't vaporizing and burning completely during the power stroke. Now, you do want cleaning agents. This is where the top-tier standard comes in. Top tier is a certification that guarantees a higher level of detergency in the fuel to keep injectors clean. But you can buy top-tier fuel in regular 87 octane. You should always buy quality fuel, but the octane grade must match your owner's manual. Let's look at the financial impact. If you ride 10,000 miles a year and pay an extra 60 to 80 cents per gallon for premium you don't need, you are essentially setting $200 to $300 on fire annually. That's a set of tires. Stop paying for a placebo effect that might actually be dirtying your valves. Mistake 3. The lazy pit stop, straddling an engine on. We have all seen it, and many of us have done it, pulling up to the pump, leaving the helmet on, and staying seated on the bike while refueling. The logic is that it's faster, easier, and helps you hold the bike upright to get more fuel in. This is known as the lazy pit stop, and it introduces two critical risks: static electricity and entrapment. When you ride, your clothes rub against the seat, generating a static charge. In a car, you discharge this when you step out and close the door. On a bike, if you stay seated, that charge remains on your body. The moment you reach for the fuel pump nozzle or open the gas cap, the potential for a static discharge spark right at the filler neck increases. While rare, the vapor density at the mouth of a motorcycle tank is exactly right for ignition. The second risk is purely tactical. You are straddling a machine containing 4 to 6 gallons of highly flammable liquid positioned directly over a hot engine block. If the auto shutoff fails and fuel sprays onto the hot headers, or if there is a spill that ignites, you are physically trapped in the fire zone. With the bike between your legs, you have zero leverage to escape quickly. You have to lift your leg over the tail, avoid the handlebars, and clear the bike, all while potentially covered in fuel. If you are standing next to the bike, you can drop the nozzle and back away instantly. There is also the issue of heat management. Leaving the engine idling, or even just leaving the ignition on to check your phone, keeps the electrical system active and the headers hot. You want the ignition off and the key in your pocket. Dismounting allows you to inspect the bike, check your tires, and ground yourself on a metal bollard or the pump itself before you ever open the tank. It adds 30 seconds to your stop, but ensures you aren't sitting on a bomb if something goes wrong. Mistake 4. Ignoring the ethanol reality, phase separation. This brings us to a chemical reality that most riders ignore until their bike refuses to start in the spring. We need to talk about ethanol, specifically the E10 and E15 blends that have become the standard at pumps across North America and Europe. You might think fuel is just fuel, but ethanol introduces a property called hygroscopy. This means ethanol actively absorbs moisture from the atmosphere. It pulls water right out of the air. In a sealed system, this isn't a huge issue, but motorcycle fuel tanks are vented atmospheres. As your bike sits, the fuel inside is constantly interacting with the air outside. Over time, the ethanol in your tank absorbs enough water to reach a saturation point. When this happens, a chemical reaction called phase separation occurs. The ethanol unbinds from the gasoline and bonds with the water, creating a heavy, corrosive sludge that drops out of suspension and sinks to the very bottom of the tank. Here is the problem. Your fuel pump pickup is also at the bottom of the tank. When you try to start a bike that has been sitting with untreated ethanol fuel for a few months, the first thing the pump sucks up isn't gasoline. It is a concentrated mix of water and alcohol. This mixture is non-combustible, so the bike won't start, but it is also highly corrosive. It attacks the aluminum inside the fuel pump, rusts steel tanks from the inside out, and destroys the delicate filtering media in your injectors. This is often called the winter storage mistake, but it happens faster than you think. In humid environments, phase separation can begin in as little as 30 to 60 days. The material science of older bikes is particularly vulnerable, as high concentrations of ethanol will eat through older rubber fuel lines and swell plastic tanks until they no longer fit the frame. But even on a 2025 model, that water alcohol sludge is a killer. Looking ahead to 2026, the outlook is shifting. As governments push for higher renewable fuel standards, we are seeing E15, fuel with 15% ethanol, becoming more common at standard pumps. Many motorcycles are not rated for anything above E10. If you are storing your bike, finding ethanol-free fuel is the gold standard. If you can't find that, using a high-quality fuel stabilizer that specifically targets water dispersion is no longer optional. It is a mandatory maintenance step to prevent your fuel system from rotting from the inside out while it sleeps. Mistake 5. Trusting the auto shutoff on high-flow pumps. Now let's look at the physical interaction between the pump and your bike. Most of us are conditioned by our cars. You shove the nozzle in, lock the handle clip, and wait for the click. That works because cars have long, deep filler necks that can handle the high velocity of modern pumps, which are designed to flow 10 gallons per minute or more. Your motorcycle is different. The tank is shallow, wide, and sits horizontally. The internal shape is complex, often with tunnels for the airbox or frame rails. When you squeeze a high-flow pump trigger fully open, the fuel shoots into the tank with massive turbulence. Because the tank is shallow, that fuel hits the bottom or a structural ridge and splashes back up toward the filler neck instantly. The auto shutoff sensor on the nozzle relies on a small port near the tip being covered by fluid to trigger the mechanism. In a motorcycle tank, the splashback often happens so chaotically that the fuel sprays out of the tank and onto the rider before the sensor ever registers that the tank is full. The result is pressurized gasoline spraying over your hands, your jacket, the hot engine, and your painted fairings. This is a disaster for your finish. Modern clear coats are tough, but raw gasoline is a solvent. If it sits on the paint, it can soften the clear coat. If it gets under a decal or a tank pad, it will dissolve the adhesive and lift the graphics. If you have a matte finish, gasoline can permanently stain the texture if not wiped away immediately with the right cleaner. The fix here is technique. You cannot trust the auto shutoff. You need to manually feather the trigger, pumping at half speed or less. Angle the nozzle so the stream hits the side wall of the tank rather than shooting straight into the shallow bottom. This creates a swirl rather than a splash. And critically, you must visually monitor the level. Watch the fuel rise and release the trigger manually before it reaches the neck. Relying on the click is a gamble where the house odds are a lap full of gasoline. Mistake 6. The loose cap phantom check engine light. There is a specific panic that sets in when you are riding a modern bike, and the check engine light suddenly glows orange on the dash. You immediately think of catastrophic engine failure, expensive sensors, or internal damage. But often that light was caused by a 2-second mistake you made at the gas station 50 miles ago. We tend to think of the fuel cap as just a lid, something to keep the gas in and the rain out. But on modern fuel-injected machines, the cap is a calibrated pressure relief valve that maintains a specific atmospheric pressure inside the tank. The Engine Control Unit, or ECU, monitors the pressure in the fuel system to ensure the emissions equipment is working correctly. If you rush the closure and don't push the cap down until it clicks, or if you don't turn a threaded cap until the ratchet engages, the seal is not complete. As you ride and consume fuel, the system expects a certain pressure profile. A loose cap allows air to leak in uncontrolled, which the ECU interprets as a breach in the system, essentially a vacuum leak. This triggers a diagnostic trouble code, often P0455 or similar, indicating a gross leak in the evaporative system. You end up riding home in limp mode or with a glaring warning light, only to pay a shop an hour of labor to plug in a diagnostic tool and tell you that your gas cap wasn't on tight. Beyond the electronics, a loose cap is a physical contamination risk. If you ride through rain or wash the bike with a cap that isn't fully seated, water runs right past the seal and into the fuel. We already discussed what water does to injectors. The maintenance tip here is simple but critical. Once a season, flip your gas cap over and inspect the rubber gasket. If it has cracks, dry rot, or flat spots, replace it. A $5 rubber seal is the only thing standing between a clean system and a $500 diagnostic headache. Mistake 7. Refueling a scorched engine. Thermal expansion. Finally, we need to discuss thermodynamics and a mistake that creates a silent crash risk. Picture this scenario. You have been riding hard for 2 hours. Your engine block, frame, and exhaust are heat-soaked, radiating temperatures upwards of 220 degrees Fahrenheit. You pull into a gas station where the fuel is stored in underground tanks, kept at a stable, cool temperature, usually around 55 or 60 degrees. You pump that cool fuel into your hot tank. The tank sits directly above the engine, absorbing that radiant heat. The moment that cool liquid hits the hot environment of your motorcycle, it begins to expand rapidly. This is basic thermal expansion. Gasoline expands by about 1% for every 15 degrees Fahrenheit increase in temperature. That might not sound like much, but in a full tank, it is significant volume. If you fill the tank to the absolute brim, ignoring the air gap we talked about earlier, that expanding fuel has nowhere to go. It quickly overwhelms the internal volume of the tank. The pressure forces liquid fuel out through the overflow tube. On many motorcycles, this overflow tube is routed down the back of the engine and exits near the swing arm pivot, often directly in front of the rear tire. You might not even see it happen. You pay, you gear up, and you pull out of the station. As you lean into the first turn, your rear tire hits a patch of your own spilled fuel. Diesel or gasoline on a tire acts like ice. It destroys traction instantly. This is why refueling a scorched engine requires a different protocol. If the bike is running hot, or if you plan to park the bike in direct sunlight immediately after filling up, you must leave more headspace in the tank. You need to account for that thermal growth. Stop filling a little earlier than usual. It is better to lose 5 miles of range than to lose the rear end in the first corner, leaving the pump. It's a small adjustment that respects the physics of the machine you are riding. Your fuel system is the engine's lifeline. Treating it with respect protects your investment and your safety. If you really want to know which engine oils are actually worth the money, you need to check out this deep dive next. Subscribe right now for the real truth about motorcycle maintenance.